Good morning, everybody. I'm getting a lot of messages, a lot of comments on the Ottawa raising of the U.S. flag for Independence Day. Happens every year. In fact, sometimes they run it for an entire week. It's not unusual. And to add to this, just to show you how it really signifies not really anything at all, is that just a month ago we had LGBTQ month. And you know what Ottawa does every year? Raises the LGBTQ flag. It doesn't signify anything for the USA. It's just Ottawa's display. They do that. They actually have a lot of months where they display a lot of flags. A lot of flags I don't agree with. Now, I love the USA flag, but does it mean Ottawa's going to move towards 51st state? Absolutely not. Mark Carney's on a super suckhole right now because we have a deadline this week, this day, July 4th, right now. We have a deadline with the United States, July 4th to July 9th. And then from there, depending on what happens this week, which Canada's going to lose. I promise you they've lost. DST, Canada lost. Threw it away. It was a bargaining chip if you were really elbows up. I'm not elbows up. I'm Canada, the 51st state. But I know what the United States requires of Canada. It's clearly published. I can tell you, in just the last 3 months of ratified legislation, it is impossible to rescind any of those things without alienating a whole pile of the country. And if you think this is only Quebec, you're sadly mistaken. Alberta's there too. This country is cuckoo. It's always been cuckoo because we run on crown regimes. It's for the benefit of an elite few at the absolute expense of the many. Me and almost certainly all of you. Now, I've had new followers join me. I've got RCMP. There's some RCMP members who've joined. I'm going to allow that, and I've given them access. They answered their questions, emails. So if you see that, folks, I'll let it go. I'm not ignorant to the Crown Sworn. I had a meeting, a dinner with a lawyer last night here in Ontario. Didn't go well. More cuckoo, and it's okay. And I didn't hold back any punches. The lawyer actually left last night. I don't think it's really targeting. I'm still trying to analyze that, but it terrifies me, the level of idiocracy that faces so many Canadians, especially those Crown Sworn. I'm going to give this rope to these RCMP officers. There are some lawyers coming forward, but you're not going to get one on me. We're not rewriting history. We're not making up narratives to protect any crown. I'm sorry, but the narrative is the narrative. There's a lot to go through with purchases and procurements of used Black Hawk helicopters from the U.S. Alberta did it. RCMP did it. Alberta's got sheriffs. Do the sheriffs of Alberta have any different mandate than the RCMP in Canada? Hell no. Hell no. To put it in perspective for my American audience, at the core level of all your communities, when you leave the family unit and start and establish your first American communities at the basic level, we're not even at the village level yet, just those basic communities. When you're at the point ready for policing, for a justice system, very basic level, you elect of your own because you, the American people, have the power of enforcement. Not even close in Canada. What's happening with Alberta sheriffs is the provincial crown assuming basic power of what you call your FBI. You know, agents who are national, who are serving a national interest, a centralized interest. You certainly don't use them in any community level. Well, Canada is entirely that. You have many stories of your sheriffs in your communities that get pretty big, right? Town, city, all of its size. And these sheriffs shake their head like, what is an RCMP member doing in our community from some local dispatch? It boom, and it has sent shockwaves through the United States, federal and state level system, right at the community level with American sheriffs, which are not to be confused with Alberta sheriffs. Not even remotely close. They are just as mandated as RCMP. They are at the provincial level. It's basically centralized power, executive power of the federal regime being harnessed by the provincial government to be their regime police force with the same mandates that are not American. In America, police have a mandate to serve and protect the American people. Now, politicians do have a separate policing for politicians. You know what that's called in the United States? You know. In Canada, that is the mandate for all police, no matter what their title is. Do not be confused. Canadians, Americans, it is one size fits all from highest of politicians on the way down in an exact pyramid scheme, which means Canadians, depending on your class, you are at the absolute least. Least, meaning their mandate starts at the top and comes down to you. It is not serve and protect. It's serve the crown, harnessed and for the crown. This is all prosecutors, judges, all of it. I had a very verbal dinner last night where that lawyer walked out trying to bamboozle me with all the English bullshit, and I wouldn't have none of it. And it was done very publicly in Bowmanville. I could get into who this group of political insiders are in Canada, but I basically had that person storm right out, and I humiliated them in front of everybody in that Bowmanville establishment, and I didn't feel 1 ounce of remorse for it because I gave the truth as it is, and that's how it is. And I'm never ever going to rewrite histories or propagate any of the Crown bullshit ever. I'm uncompromisable, and I like doing that. I felt so empowered from the big beautiful bill because we are getting raped over the coals. So folks, what we need to know here is that Ottawa flying a flag of the United States is done every year, and a month before that an LGBTQ flag goes up too in Ottawa, right beside the Canadian flag. That's our country. A morpher, a bullshitter, a con job. And the only reason why the media is highlighting it right now is because over this day, from this day to July 9th, is super critical for Canada, and Canada isn't going to get it. They can't reduce supply management. They can't get a deal by July 9th, which means from July 9th to July 21st, mark my words, we're going back under extreme sanctions and trade embargoes. I already know this outcome because I know my country extremely well. I know the United States extremely well legally. And lawyers can try to bullshit me, and they get so mad that a guy of my status can articulate these things and humiliate them in front of anybody they want to put in front of me in any debate. I will blast you right out, and that's your designation you went to school for with the Crown in your stupid Oxford bar. And that's the reality of it. Is it scary what the legal system can do to you? Sure, I've already been through it. My life was already decimated by our legal system over a decade ago, but I'm not afraid. I've already been through the ringer, and you kind of see these things for what they are, and you know how to stand against it, and I'll never be compromised. But I will always open it up to Canadians if they answer the questions, join our group, but I'll be watching what they post and watching their interactions, and if they step out or try to create these fake narratives or for the Crown narratives, I'm going to see it. So that's my video, folks. Happy Independence Day for America. Americans have a truly great day ahead. a truly great year ahead. And in fact, filing's going to be incredible for them this coming tax time, which is going to move a mountain of Americans. There's all kinds of baloney narratives already this morning trying to justify the left side of socialism, saying, oh, these people won't have health care. If you can't work 40 hours a week and you think you can exist on 8 to 12 hours as a lifestyle choice, you better find a spouse that at least works and works some overtime, because that's not the world we live in, and that's not a productive society. This is the sad state of affairs of socialisms, and this is why things like the Soviet Union fell, and so many other really radical socialist environments, as they tell people, it's okay, sit on your ass, the system will protect you, will pay for you and maintain your lifestyle. And some people will live a very shitty lifestyle just so they don't have to work. And there is a percentage, but that will always grow in socialism. The more weight you put of the system on working people, the more people give up. It's why Canada has radical drug and alcohol abuse problems and mental illness, because that weight, that burden is becoming too much. America got reset, and God bless them for it. That's my video, folks. Happy Independence Day for America. They deserve it. Over the next week, Ottawa can fly the U.S. flag and make this like they're going to get a deal. I don't see it. I don't see it with supply management and red lines for America and legislation in place blocking the government sitting from doing anything. And now they might breach it. The Crown can do that. Nothing's set in stone except for the fact that the Prime Minister can do whatever his or her Majesty wants to do with Governor General. But it will be at the expense of Quebec and Alberta on two different fronts on the same system. There's a lot Canadians don't understand. The Trump administration does. They see it clearly, and they will never remove these red lines. And you will watch every other nation all over the world getting deals with America while Canada sits last in line, at their detriment, at their explosive loss of supply and value chains. That's my video. Share, share, share. Get it out there. Understand and know the truth. Bye now.